It's Dumb Guy in 2024. We've now done this show on 3 different calendar years, fellas. Can you believe it?
No.
Yeah, I really can't either. I usually stick with something in wrestling media for like 6 months or so. Then I'm like, that's enough of that. I've had that.
Dynamite Show Parker was a special time.
Yeah, the Dynamite Show with Paul Fontaine.
Legend.
To this date, the only podcast to concurrently have Dave Meltzer and Brian and Vinny V on at the exact same time.
Paul Fontaine is featured in every UFC pay-per-view.
True. He always gets a tweet up there. Gotta love Paul. Jamie, what's good?
I'm doing good. It feels very good to be back on Tuesdays. Feels right. We're home. Back on Tuesday night.
Love it.
I've had to compromise on the time zone. I'm outnumbered 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
I have to, the Americans take the win here. But I'm just happy to be back on Tuesdays. It feels right. So, it's WrestleKingdom week. We got a lot of big things to get into. So
Bro, I'm stoked. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great.
It's like Christmas.
Yeah. We have a few chats. Yeah, we got our flagship time. Happy New Year, Darren. Appreciate it. The question is, when is Megan? We have no idea.
Oh, I have the date. I have the date.
All right, cool. Anyway, finally a pod. This is funny to preview Max the Impaler versus Yuki Arai. That sounds like shit. Is that happening in like 2 days?
Darren, February 4th.
All right, thanks, Murph. The boys. Hello, DGL Luge. She's a fraud. Suzu robbed. It's time to stand up for TJPW. I don't know if it's ever time to stand up for TJPW, even if I do wish Suzu had won. It's never. That's a little much, Trav.
Micah Nation.
Mike, you're part of Micah. I'm like low key a part of Micah Nation. I just thought it was Suzu.
We'll get into it. I'm very happy.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Crazy announcement. I watched the entire Stardom show.
Oh, let's go.
That's pretty funny. This comment is also pretty funny.
I'm sorry.
Bad time to start, but Overlord Dan, you watched the show. We've been telling you Noah's bad for like ever. Jake Lee was my shitter of the year, and he wasn't even like a bad part of this show. So
that entrance at Aura, man,
bro, he's a beast. He's like Schrodinger's beast. He's like a beast and a shitter at the same time, and there's like
what
nobody
the fuck is
else.
that with that cane, bro?
It's awesome. Like, what is he cooking? He's like such a good athlete. There's videos of him on Twitter doing workouts where he does neck bridges into a headstand, and it's like impossible. But now he's like, I have a cane. What if I was the Undertaker?
He wears a fucking monocle.
Yeah. All right. Okay, everybody, let's get started with the show. We sort of touched on a lot of stuff, but really the big fucking thing that's happening in wrestling right now, it's one of the biggest shows of the year. It's the biggest Japanese wrestling show every year. New Japan Pro Wrestling WrestleKingdom 18 kicks off in about 30 hours from now, a little over a day from now. We'll get started with WrestleKingdom 18. We're going to go in reverse order on the card, as we always do when we preview shows. And we're going to start with the main event, what will be the biggest drawing match in Japan in the next calendar year. And that is Sonata of Just Five Guys defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against the G1 Climax winner, Tetsuya Naito of LIJ. Former stablemates, Sonata left LIJ in February of last year, or March, something like that. Yeah, March. Subsequently won the New Japan Cup and then the championship from Kazuchika Okada. He's held it since then. Naito won the G1 Climax, and we are finally getting their matchup here. I'm going to start with Murph, because you are a huge Sonata fan, and you're also lower on Naito than a lot of people. What are your thoughts on this match?
It's the Sonata Nation versus the world here. The whole world is expecting the roll call. Bushi, Shingo, Hiromu, Teton, Zendokan, maybe Naito.
Probably
but
not.
You're not getting it. It is the time. Sonata, his whole life has been about rejection. That man went to TNA, was teamed with James Storm. He went to, and by the way, I'm not the Sonata DGL. I disagree with that, honestly. I think I'm like the
He's calling you the champ.
He call me a bum, honestly, because Sonata this year, New Japan has booked him in a way that made him look like a bum. But Sonata is him, Himothy, him Duncan. Sonata is the guy. Sonata, you're putting him in matches with fucking evil at pay-per-views. Like, Gato, that's your fault. But Sonata is going to walk into the Tokyo Dome, hit a Shining Wizard, the Deadfall, and then a moonsault. 1, 2, 3. Sonata is going to win because his journey is that he could leave LIJ, join a new faction, start it, and become the guy. And it is Seiya Sonata's time. And Seiya Sonata will walk out of the Tokyo Dome, and he will win the match, and the lights are going to go off, and everybody's going to put their phones up, put on their flashlights, because Sonata it's his time. Because Naito is washed. He is washed. Naito is, you know what? I didn't mind. I like Naito. He's good. He's a good wrestler. He's a good hand. But after Naito,
Tetsuya Naito's a good hand.
He's a good hand. But it's Sonata time.
Wow. I think I suspect Jamie will have a little bit of a different interpretation.
Oh, Faf, I like
of
your
what's gonna
comment. KJ Jefferson, great quarterback. He's our new quarterback. I love the comment.
Good. Go whatever.
Go
All
ahead,
right.
start on.
Jamie, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm not quite as confident in Sonata retaining as Murph is. I'm just kind of hopeful that the match is good. I mean, when Sonata first won the belt, I think we were all a little surprised that they actually pulled the trigger. I'm even more surprised that they've allowed them to keep it into WrestleKingdom. I was kind of assuming he may have had a little bit of a shorter reign. But now that he's there, that's how he shows out with Naito. I think Naito's winning. I think that roll call at the end of the show is the way we're going to end this. But I don't think the roll call will be the final thing on the show, because I feel like there may be a twist similar to when Kenta attacked Naito. I feel like there may be something post-match, whether it's a Tsuji heel turn or whether it's Katsuhiko Nakajima potentially arrive, and I feel like there may be potential for something to happen post-match here. But I do think Tetsuya Naito is picking up the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But I just hope they have a good match, and I hope the Sonata doubters can leave this one feeling a little bit more confidence in him going forward. But yeah,
I think I'm a bit of halfway between you two. I'm a more of a believer in Sonata than most. I really do enjoy him as a wrestler. I think he has some of the best closing sequences in wrestling. Oh God, that's crazy. Hold on, God, is there a way I can? You know what? Let's here just a second.
Get fucked, Parker. Hey, it's some guy live, just featuring Murph.
Enough of that. Okay. Let's see here. So back to Sonata. I like him. AO says Snornata bad. I'm sorry, AO. No, I like Sonata a lot. I think he has really good closing sequences. I do think that he struggles to get to that really, like, he's very much some wrestles to the quality of his opponent. If his opponent isn't somebody who's in there and like, contend to be like match of the night every time he goes up, Sonata's not going to be the one probably to bring it into that stage. But I feel like Sonata consistently does against the best wrestlers in there, whether it's Okada. He has with like Ospreay, for example, although they each other. But with Tsuji, I thought was really exciting, and I thought Sada played his role perfectly. It's just a great foil for who's all cool, all charisma, all that, right? Whereas Sonata is more of like a pure like golden boy type, doesn't show a lot of emotion. So I think good dynamic. It's a very 4 years ago when Naito beat Okada for the title at Wrestle Kingdom in what was a classic match. I'm very much looking forward to this main event. Naito will win. However, I'm not confident in that. I think they could go either way. So much like a foregone conclusion that sometimes New Japan does go against conclusions. Naito is late, and I felt like the G1 like come out of nowhere per se because a lot of people were predicting it, but I don't know. Naito wasn't a featured player for up until the G1. So I think there's some interesting there. I think if Naito loses, they have potential to like shoot a really big angle here that can set up some of the stories. Still waiting for them to pull the trigger on some of these young guys too. I'm thinking Suji in that scene, but regardless, I'm very much looking forward to this match. I think the closing sequence in the dome. Remember, this is our first full capacity dome in 4 years, which is super exciting. The last time it was a Naito main event, and it was my match of the year. So I have no reason to bet against these guys this year. I think it's going to be a great match, and I think the dome's going to be going wild for this by the end.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so Murph, you're saying so. I think I'll go with Naito. Jamie is
Sonata.
Jamie's going with Naito here. So okay. What I would say is probably the average fan, or at least the average Western fan at the very least, most anticipated match on this card is the semi-main event here. A rematch of the main event of Forbidden Door, Kazuchika Okada of New Japan taking on Bryan Danielson, a lot of people's pick for the best Western wrestler of all time, if not the greatest wrestler of all time, bar none. I'm going to get started on this one. I'm so unbelievably excited for this match. Like, I think a lot of people's expectations are tempered because we did see it, and even though we know in our head that it was hampered a little bit by the broken forearm that Danielson suffered during the match. I think there is still this sense that, like, man, we've already seen this, and it was I thought it was great, but it wasn't like blow away classic good, right? I think this has a chance to be blow away classic good. It's easily the Omega Ospreay of this year, where it's not really about anything other than two incredible wrestlers going up against each other for an incredible matchup, right? Like Ospreay was cool. It had the title, but it was really just being like, hey, the two best wrestlers in the world potentially going at it for the first time. This time, it's the same thing, except even more historical greatness between the two. In terms of a winner, it's got to be Okada. It's got to be Okada winning this. I feel like, unless thing with Danielson, I feel like Okada's winning this for sure. Unless Okada's leaving, then they could have Danielson win. But I don't really think that. I'm not too worried about that. Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Okada's taking it, but the match itself should be tremendous. You talk about the Forbidden Door match, and even though that match obviously didn't go exactly the way we would have liked with the injury, I still think it was a great match up until that point, and it was trending towards something excellent. How that would have played out, if that never happened, I think we're interesting to see. But hopefully, this should be the definitive Danielson versus Okada match, and I think it should be spectacular. I mean, these are as you say, Danielson, arguably the best wrestler of all time. Okada as well, very much in that conversation. So, I mean, at their peak, this should be incredible. I think Okada should probably take this one. They'll be one apiece. I also think Okada's probably got. Well, I feel like Okada may have a title match in his future. We'll get to it in the next match or two. But I feel like Okada may have some big things lined up for 2024. I don't think he's leaving. I think the Tanahashi news, which again we'll get into in a little moment, I think that's probably a signifier that that he's probably going to stick around. I feel like that's something that will keep him with the company. But yeah, I think this one should be excellent, and I think this feels like the safe bet to be match of the night.
The story of this match is in June. Danielson and Okada couldn't have the full match they wanted, but the story of that match was Danielson tapped Okada out, and Okada does not tap out very often. Like, I can't think of many other times when this has happened. So Danielson is probably going to try and have Okada tap out again. And this is a Danielson who's gone through the CC. He's been wrestling. He has the eye patch. He's working a gritty style. Okada does not want to lose to the same guy twice. I think this match is going to be a safe bet for match of the night. I mean, it's two of the greatest wrestlers ever. And the fact of the matter is this is a match that if you told me you were going to get this 5 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. So this in the Bryan Danielson in the Tokyo Dome, I've never seen it before outside when he was a junior, the American Dragon, but this is a whole different Bryan Danielson than that time. This match is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be one of the greatest matches of the year. I can tell you that right now. And I think that Kazuchika Okada will be the one standing tall.
All right, I think we're all in behind Okada here. I don't think there's not much to say other than the fact that these are two of the greats of all time, if not, I think some people would argue the two greatest of all time. Maybe the best Eastern and best Western wrestler of all time against each other. So, and to be clear, like they're not like they're as good as ever. Okada had that unbelievable match with Kaito to start this past year, right? Had really good matches throughout the year, and then Danielson is just unbelievable. You think about the Saber match, and of course, and all the stuff he's been through over the last year. So, yeah, very very much looking forward to this one, as I think just about everybody watching this show is. One match that is very odd in its construction, in who's in it, and what it's for, is the third from the top match, which will be a three-way. It'll be for a new championship, the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, replacing the U.S. Championship, which, I gotta be honest, the U.S. Champion, it never made sense to have a U.S. Championship. It's fucking New Japan. Why would New Japan have a U.S. champ? Like, it'd be like AEW having a Japan Championship or something. Like, what? But anyway, Global Heavyweight Championship, new title. I think this is more of a name thing. It doesn't really appear to have that much of a difference aside from maybe like more of an emphasis on like some of the UK stuff that they do too. But it feels more closer to the Intercontinental title than maybe the US title, I guess. But what's really weird about this match is who's in it. It is Will Ospreay, who is the let's see, is he currently the US champion? I don't even understand how
I think he's technically vacated it.
It was technically done. Okay. Jon Moxley, former U.S. champion in New Japan, and David Finlay, the leader of the Bullet Club, who I would say a lot of people have not been a fan of his reign as leader of the Bullet Club. But it's weird because Ospreay has already signed with All Elite Wrestling. He is an All Elite Wrestling talent. Okay. Jon Moxley obviously already is too. David Finlay, it feels like, oh my God, he's so much farther lower on the totem pole than these other two guys in terms of like international respect and talent and everything like that. And yet he's the only New Japan guy still signed out of these three. So what's it going to be? How are they going to go in this match? And what's this match even going to look like? Is there going to be like Bullet Club bullshit throughout? Is it going to be like a clean three-way? Who's going to be the heel or the babyface? Like Ospreay was a babyface, but he's leaving. Mox has been very heelish when he's been in New Japan, and obviously Finlay is the leader of the top heel stable in the company. So anyway, I'm just very curious, Jamie, what you think this match is even going to look like.
Yeah, this is a very interesting one. As you say, David Finlay's not exactly quite on the level of the other two. I am hopeful, though, that, just because of how high quality the other two are, that he can kind of be dragged along to something really good here. I think Moxley in particular, his inclusion in this is pretty exciting because you saw what he was able to get out of someone like a Great Khan last year, and that super physical match that kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like if this turns into a bit of a Moxley style brawl with Finlay, then that could make it a bit more of an exciting match. And then obviously Will Ospreay is probably the best wrestler in the world right now on current form, maybe arguably with Danielson and Okada that we just spoke about. But so this has the potential to be really good, but obviously Finlay's inclusion is pretty spooky. I'm not completely sold that Finlay's winning, even though he is evidently the only like fully contracted New Japan wrestler in this match. I feel Ospreay is probably going to do a couple of New Japan dates with AEW. I mean, we already have one confirmed with the Battle in the Valley against Kazuchika Okada. I think Ospreay is taking this match, and I think he's dropping immediately to Okada. at Battle in the Valley, and that may be cope because I don't want Finley to win. But that's where I'm at with it right now. That's where I'm telling myself I'm at with it. But hopefully this one can deliver, and the two, Ospreay and Moxley can get something really good out of Finley.
I'm gonna go bold here. I have a bold opinion.
Ooh.
John Moxley is going to win this match.
Ooh.
Interesting.
John Moxley is going to win this match. We're going to get Moxley and Okada in San Jose. That's a match we've only seen once. That's a match that hasn't been. I think that's a big match that's going to sell tickets. And John Moxley holding the belt for a month. He'll defend it once in AEW or something like that. But John Moxley is going to win this title. And he's going to do it. And I actually agree with one of the comments. I think Moxley is going to beat Finley. And then Finley's going to get attacked by the rest of the dogs. So, yes, I'm going to play the best scenario for this match is they take out Finley. He sits around on the apron for the whole match, and he comes in for the finish. That's not going to happen, but, that's how I book it since, Finley's kind of terrible. But, John, this is bold. I was bold last year, WrestleKingdom. Everyone thought Ospreay was going to beat Omega. Excuse me. But I think that John Moxley is going to win this match.
I like that. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Ospreay and Okada is already happening, right? Has already been announced.
Yeah. It's just up in the air whether it's going to be for the belt.
Excuse me. Then.
So I think it's very possible that you could do one of two things with that announcement. With this result, you can say Ospreay wins this title and then Okada challenges for it, or you can say Moxley wins this match and then Moxley defends it on that show against somebody else, not in this match. Or you could probably do a Finley rematch if you. But I actually agree. I actually think that Ospreay is going to win this match. He's been very adamant and open about wanting to keep the New Japan relationship and the New Japan dates available for him while being an AEW signed talent. And I think that's intentional. I think that's an important statement for him. Otherwise, he'd come in as kind of like this weird, like, I don't know, we know he's leaving type of guy from the match. So yeah, and also just like the idea of a global championship and an inaugural champion for what's probably going to be the number 2 title in the company behind the world heavyweight title. It's probably above the Never title, right? You don't want to start it off with fucking David Finlay, right? Like I know that New Japan were the ones who put him in this position in the first place, but I think they're also self-aware enough to be like, come on, if you're going to make a new championship, it has to be somebody. Mm-hmm. Recall they had Ospreay as the second world heavyweight champion in lineage, in that lineage after Ibushi. So I think that was pretty intentional as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ospreay. Jamie, you're going with Ospreay. Murph, I'm going to go with Mox. I think the match will be great. I think regardless of Finley's, unless it's like just a ton of Bullet Club like cheating bullshit, I think this match is going to be excellent. Yeah. So okay. Junior title. I gotta be honest, don't have much to say about this one, and this is kind of how I feel about a lot of the rest of the card. Hiromu Takahashi defends against El Desperado. This is a match we've seen a million times. It's almost always great. Hiromu has beaten everybody in the division. It feels like it's about damn time for somebody else to be champion in this division, even though I very much love Hiromu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. There's kind of, as you kind of point out, there's going to be a lot of these matches where it feels like they're going to be good matches, but we've kind of seen them before, or variations of them before. This is very much one of them. I think it's going to be excellent. I think Hiromu should have dropped the belt to Watto. Looking back now,
I agree.
Earlier in the year, kind of looking at the way his brain panned out following that, I don't really think it was kind of worthwhile. But I mean, I think both these guys, I've been saying it for a while now, both these guys feel like they could. Be kind of jumping out of that junior division at some point soon, or maybe Hiromu kind of bounces between the two. Desperado definitely feels like one of the bigger guys in there. So I'm not too sure on result. I'm probably edging towards a Desperado win just because of how long Hiromu's had the title for. But I'm kind of hoping we do get some new names in the mix soon. Watto will be great to see in there. Fujita as well. I'm really liking him so far. So hopefully he's going to be big in the junior division next year. But it should be excellent regardless.
It hurts to say, But this is a Sakura Genesis card in the Tokyo Dome. Come on from here. We got out the 3 great matches out of the way. But the rest of this card doesn't really excite me, but it's in the Dome, so you still stay up for it and love it. This Roman Reigns should have ended a year ago. Feels like even more. He's been champion for a long time now. Wado should have won the belt. The New Japan Junior division is just pretty boring right now to me. I mean, they need some new blood. I don't know who that's from, but like I liked how they had like Musashi in there in this tag league.
Yeah.
And like they should give Leo Rush a deal. Like just bring Leo Rush over. Keep bringing him over. And by the way, listen to our interview with Leo Rush. But you know, the New Japan Junior division, I feel like I've seen this match 50 million times. It was great the one time Desperado took his mask off, you know. But Desperado's going to win. And then he's going to defend against Kanemaru at the next pay-per-view because that's just what they do. And the New Japan Junior division just kind of is pretty boring right now. They should start signing some guys. Like you said, Fujita. They should sign Fujita Junior Hayato. They should sign Musashi. They should sign for God loving Ida finally sign Ada. I mean, they just need guys. Because right now, this division just bores the fuck out of me. Give Clark Connors the title shot. Drill him.
It's just it's a little different. I mean, you think back to 2018 and 2019 were the years where their junior division was just unbelievable. And so much of that was just they had this big talent pool to pull from of guys from all across the scene. You know, they would consistently act in CMLL guys, right?
What
They've
happened
kind of
to
gotten away
Teton?
from that.
Did
That's what
Teton
I'm
die?
wondering too. Like he's in LIJ. He was in the finals of Best of the Super Juniors, and he just doesn't do anything anymore. Like, what's the point? Like, he should be Dragon Lee for them right now, but he's just Teton. I don't really know what they're doing with that. There's so many CMLL guys that would just be unbelievable in this division right now who they're just frankly not using. And that's a CMLL thing, but I don't know about that. CMLL does love their New Japan relationship. They always talk about how Fantastica Mania is where CMLL wrestlers make the most money. So I'm sure that the wrestlers have a ton of motivation to come here too. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a part of the talent base in the United States. Just frankly isn't there for a lot of juniors. Think back to that 2019 Best of the Super Juniors that had, of course, Osprey and I think of the Lee, who wasn't like signed necessarily. There were just tons of guys in who I'm like blanking on right now, but a ton of them. Like obviously Skrull was
Why don't you call
one of the
TNA?
people.
TNA's got some.
Yeah, TNA.
Get Ace Austin.
They have like an actual like pretty solid group of juniors there. I don't know why you wouldn't have
Call
try to
Kushida.
have one of the machine guns. Yeah, that guy Kushida who you used to have.
Aren't the machine gun? Isn't like Alex Shelley world champion or some shit? Like you can't.
Is he still world champion? I don't know.
I don't watch TNA.
I don't watch TNA. Yes, Seidel, Ricochet, ACH, like all those guys, right? Anyway, it's just tough.
Get like Dante Martin for a match or some shit. I mean, you can easily have Dante Martin for 2 weeks. Dante Martin will go to Japan for 2 weeks. I'm not asking for him to do excursion, which is another thing. People think that everyone could just go on excursions for 3 months. It's not how the world works. But I mean, you can call Dante Martin. You can call Action Andretti. You can drink a bunch of fucking water bottles or some shit. You can call. I mean, you can call whatever. You can call call Mystico. He'll drive. That'll be a big deal. I mean, like it's just this company. I mean, for fuck's sake, give Rocky a title shot just to spice things up. Rocky's been busting his ass. Let Rocky get a title shot.
Juniors in week in Japan right now, like obviously Noah's junior division is just nothing. The All Japan junior division is pretty good, but it's a small number of guys. Like it's constant. They're all good wrestlers. I would love that to have Aoyagi or Hayato or Hikaru Sato or someone like that. But even then,
the best shitter in the world. He's a shitter, but he's awesome. He's
Hikaru
really
Sato?
good at being a shitter. He's a great shitter.
No, Sato's not a shitter. He's good. But I mean, and even Dragon Gate, they're the 3 guys who fought for the championship at the last big show that they had. They're all like the 3 biggest guys on the roster aside from Big Boss.
They're 3 heavyweights. You're not taking any of their top guys,
right? So even them, it's like they're not even focusing on juniors right now.
They did that Hiromu Yamato thing and did nothing on it. Like they
Right.
did the one like call Yamato. He's
Yeah.
he's a big enough name where he like
Yeah, Yamato would be sick. Yeah.
if you have what they have a new beginning in Kobe, when you're going to Kobe, put a dragon, do it against a Dragon Gate
Well, they
guy
have,
at top.
yeah, or Osaka. But anyway, in any case, I think Desperado wins here. It's weird because I know the match is going to be great, but I'm actually lower than a lot of people on Desperado. I think he sometimes struggles to like get me into matches like some people do. I love Hiromu though. I think he's just incredible. So I'm
I
expecting
have a nuclear take. Doki is better than Desperado.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's not true. That's false.
He's the better Mexican shitter than
no,
Desperado.
no, that's false. But I appreciate
true.
the nuclear takes that you're giving us. All right, let's keep moving here. The winner takes all tag team match. They're unifying their tag championships, the IWGP and the Strong championships. Bishamon, Goto, and Yoshihashi against God, Hikuleo, Hikuleo, and El Phantasmo. That classic Gorillas of Destiny team that we all know and love. I'm not excited about this at all. I'm really just not at all. I think the Hikuleo and Phantasmo team fucking sucks. I don't care about them at all. All their matches that have been like really well received have been like 25 plus minutes, which they won't get here. This will just be a mid card match to do a match, and they'll move on.
You had that fucking great tag league with all those good fucking teams, and this is what you come up with: Bishamon versus ELP and Hikuleo. And I'm an ELP fan, but are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking shitting me? Or like what TMDK? Ask TMDK should be in this match. The War Dog should be in this match. Fuck, what? Suji and Sandokan. Suji's fucking with Sweet Heat on the opener. No one you could have had so many better matches than this, but you do a rematch of the World Tag. We saw the match 2 weeks ago. 2 fucking weeks ago.
I just think of like there's a big time tag match. Obviously, it's Shota and Kiyomiya against Evil and Narita, and I'm like, any permutation of those guys like would have made more sense here, even including Evil. Like at least Evil's like kind of a featured guy. Like who cares about Hikuleo or Phantasmo?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this. But I think, man, I don't even know who's gonna fucking win. I guess God. Just because they seem to be like pushing them more, and Bishamon have been champions forever. And like a million times over the last few years, but I don't know. What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. I think God are probably taking it. My main opinion going into this is like, what the fuck are the War Dogs doing on the show? Why aren't they in this? Are they like, what is Gabe Kidd going to be in the New Japan Rambo or something? Like, what are we doing? Unless he's going to do the angle after the Finley match, then maybe that's where he gets his big moments. But I don't know, man. I think the more interesting thing in this is that they're seemingly killing the strong belts. I mean, we've already got we've had the Triple Crown in AEW with the Continental belt and ROH world title. Mike has said she wants to face Julia for the strong women's title. So it seems like we're going to gradually kind of kill the strong belts. I don't really know what the aim is there, but be interested to see where that goes. But I mean, yeah, this is an exciting, as like, as you said, they're not going to go anywhere near as long as they did in the tag league final, which is, I mean, that's got to be a positive. So yeah, I'm just going to hope they get this one out of the way pretty quickly.
I don't even
see. I think the length of is what made it really interesting to me. Like, about to get going, but I was like, okay, this is like a big time. So they're like gonna do the match again, but it's gonna go half as long. It's like, to me, it just like I don't know. It also just makes it feel very like synthetic or very I don't know, artificial. Like they were in a main event, so they went a million years, and now they're in the mid card, so they're gonna go 16 minutes or whatever.
The match with FTR last year was not good, but this is gonna be worse than that. Like, are you kidding? Are you shitting me? You fucking shitting me?
Yeah. Like Bishamon collectively have held the titles for like almost 400 days now as a partnership, and they've only been a partnership for like 2 years. So they've held the titles for the majority of the last
Yeah,
2
it
years.
used to
So
be
I
Goto and
suppose,
Ishii would team.
yeah,
It used to be Goto and Ishii.
yeah.
and
So
then-
so I suppose it'll be God winning, but
Mhm.
I don't give a shit about this. I don't give a shit about this match. I don't know.
Yeah, Zora, I agree. That's what I thought they were going with this, and they just didn't. Like that's
Yeah.
what I thought was gonna happen. Then they just did not do that. But he said like, "Ah, I'm done with this Bullet Club, but I might need another club somewhere else." And he joins the God. Like they teased him going to BCG, and he just never did. So I mean, I agree with you there. Like it just made no sense.
Let's move to a match that I actually legitimately think will be great, and that is the Never Openweight Championship match between Shingo Takagi and Tama Tonga. People know I'm a fan of Tama Tonga, but it's fucking Shingo. Like he never ever misses in Never Openweight title matches.
He had a classic with Hanare before Hanare was cool.
Remember when people were like when Shingo and Jeff Cobb was getting like low key match of the year buzz? Like
They
who
got
else is
5
getting a
in the
match?
dome with a clap crowd.
I know. So I think this is I think this match legit has a chance to be like awesome. Like if they'll go like 15 minutes. Tama Tonga, some people don't like him. I think it's valid.
So over.
The crowd adores him. And this match is going to be hot. It's going to be really interesting to see what the result is. I really hope Shingo retains. I just think he's just one of the best guys on the roster, like bar none. And so, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Shingo is like easily one of the best wrestlers in the world. He had a pretty quiet 2023 in terms of what he was doing. At least he still had excellent matches. You talk about that Hanare one. Hanare is someone who I would have liked to have seen in this spot, but I feel like he may win the Rambo or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of hopeful that this is. I'm a fan of Tama Tonga too. I mean, there's no doubt that he's super over in Japan. He's not one of my favorite wrestlers or anything. I just kind of hope that this is the last we see of him in the Never title scene for a little bit. It feels like he's been in there for a while now. It felt like him and David Finlay were wrestling for this thing for like forever. So him being back in this Never title match is a little bit spooky, but I'm hopeful that Shingo's going to get the win here and hopefully want to have a nice reign. A bit more of a prominent 2024 for Shingo, particularly maybe if there's going to be some LIJ shenanigans with maybe potential Suji turn and whatever. I think there's some interesting angles we could go with this, but yeah, I think this should be good.
Looking forward to it. Obviously, Murph's a big Shingo guy, former Dragon Gate world champ as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and I'm hoping for a Shingo retention.
Let's go, baby.
We saw a preview of this match today in Pro Wrestling Noah with a big time like 12-man tag match. But this next on the card will be Kaito Kiyomiya and Shota Umino, two young aces in their respective promotions, against the House of Torture team of Evil and the freshly christened Ren Narita in House of Torture.
Sold out.
Yeah, he sold out to be with a fucking loser like Evil for some reason. But yeah. I hopefully this just I'm kind of holding out hope that this is just like a little thing to like Narita will be done with House of Torture after this. Like Kaito or probably most likely Shota will pin Evil in this match, and then Narita will be like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And then he'll just like go back to what he was doing beforehand. House of Torture is so bad. I legitimately can't believe that they're still a stable. Like that's inconceivable to me that they still exist in 2024, 4 years after Evil turned in July or June 2020 or whenever that was. So I'm hoping for Shota win. You can never count out the of Kai in a match like this, though. So we'll see. But I Shota and Kaito team will win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hopeful that the babyface are getting a win here. House of Torture shenanigans are a little spooky sometimes. Sometimes they get wins where I wouldn't really like them to. And I do think Kaito Kiyomiya, he's been an interesting one in terms of how he's been booked going into this. The story of this is going to be Shota and Ren. Then those two battling it out. I think those are going to be the most heated portions of the match. I feel like this is probably not the end of these two. I think there's a big singles match down the line here. But yeah, hopefully we can keep the House Torture shenanigans to a minimum. We probably won't. There's probably going to be a lot of them. But yeah, hopefully a big Shota win, and hopefully a big 2024 for Shota, because I think he's, him and Tsuji, out of all the young guys, definitely feel very ready for a big time singles title. And I'm hopeful that 2024 is the year we do it. So hopefully a big babyface win.
At this point, House of Torture has to be up there with like the worst stables of all time.
They're the worst stable of all time. It's without it's right there. Unless you want to count like the IWRG Ku Klux Klan, like Ku Klux Klan 1 and Ku Klux Klan 2, and Ku Klux Klan Junior. They House of Torture is the worst mainstream wrestling stable.
At least Voodoo Murders has good matches sometimes.
No, Voodoo Murder's good. Voodoo Murder's not even close. The people will say like Retribution.
Retribution.
Pheromones, a lot of people will say, but like you can avoid pheromones,
right?
Like
the one I can think of is like Deep Drunkers. Deep Drunkers was like the worst stable of all time. Like
Deep Drunkers didn't have as much like so much of a negative impact. Like they were really bad. But I mean the sheer like amount of good matches and good wrestlers who have been just had entire like years, and if not, if you're feuding with them, months of their careers just lost to wrestling this bullshit. I mean, it's crazy. Evil was a great wrestler. Show, right? Ren Narita is pretty great, but then you think about like Sonata spent like the only reason Sonata had to leave LIG in the first place was because all that feuding with House of Torture killed all of his momentum. Notice how Shingo never feuded with House of Torture, and Shingo is a champion right now.
Sonata in 2019, Sonata had the Tokyo Sports Match of the Year.
Yeah.
In 2020 and 2021, he was caught up in this fucking bullshit, and he's still recovering from it.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're just they're the worst. They like, and they're pushed. Like Evil was a contender in the G1 this year.
Evil gets a fucking title shot every year. He gets an IWGP heavyweight title shot every fucking year.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's the worst stable of all time. And I will cry tears of joy the day they disband. I can't believe that they're still. It's like, come on, please. Like Evil sticks out like a sore thumb in this match, obviously. So hopefully he's the one who gets pinned. Okay, singles match. This will be much better. Yota Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura. These two debuted on the exact same show in 2018. Their careers have been fairly similar, interlocked. They on their excursion back, both became members of pretty important stables in New Japan over the last year. And this is a match that we should all be very much looking forward to. I love how their styles are completely different now.
Yeah.
Tsuji is a wrestler. He is the guy who all the big moves onto. He's all swagger. He's all confidence. He's all aura. Uemura, meanwhile, is like so technically proficient, so sound. He has an impeccable physique, right? He looks pretty uncannily like a young Keiji Muto did. This is just a great dynamic between. There's not a huge story. The two young guys who are associated with the two people who are in the main event of this show, but I'm really looking forward to these two wrestling each other. These are two of the best young guys in the, and I am ready for them to be full members of the roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should be really good. I'm as we kind of talked about before, there's a lot of matches on this card that feel like pretty repetitive that we've seen a lot before. This one's genuinely exciting. I mean, we may have seen it before, but it's been a long time since and this version of these two have wrestled. As you say, completely different wrestlers now. Tsuji has been one of the most exciting the biggest revelations of 2023. He kind of burst onto the scene and has got one of the most insane move sets I've ever seen. So I think he's got a really big future for this year. Uemura, I'm not as high on Uemura as I am for Tsuji and Shota, but again, we've seen less of him since he's come back from Impact, and he wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire with the Joya stick over there. So he still needs to get back into the groove of things, but I'm fully confident he's going to do that, and I think this one will be a really big one to kind of get him back into the spotlight and a really big way to prove himself in this one. I think Tsuji's winning because, as I said, I think he's got big things lined up more imminently than Uemura does. But I think both of these guys are future world champions. So this will be a really nice glimpse into the future for potential Wrestle Kingdom main events down the line. So yeah, very exciting matchup.
I need something out of you here. You came back and all you've been doing is walking around pouting. All he does is fucking pout. I mean, he's like, he thinks he's fucking Danny Garcia. I'm like, what, dude? Come on, let's get your shit together. Come on, we need something out of you here. Like you had potential. I remember when you were on the opener of Forbidden Door facing the Acclaimed, and you were like fighting it was actually pretty valiant. It was like the 5 of you versus just Max Caster and Billy Gunn. Like it was a pretty valiant thing. Like just fight. Come on, man. Like we need something out of you. Do something. Do something. Come on. We know you have potential. So I mean Tsuji's gonna win this, and I think it's gonna be a fairly dominant victory. But at least show some babyface fire.
I think Tsuji's winning this one, and I think it'll be a really good undercard match here. Couple more title matches. We won't go super in depth on these two. New Japan Television title, obviously 15-minute time limit. Sabre versus Tanahashi. These two have unbelievable chemistry. New president Tanahashi, by the way. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that after we finish the preview here. But this is a good one. These two have wrestled a million times. It's always really good, even as Tanahashi has begun to age. I have no doubts that this one will be another great one. Sabre is on the short list of best wrestlers in the world, or at least most reliable in putting on a great match when you need him to. I think this one will be great.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. It's Tanahashi in the dome, and Zack Sabre Jr. is incredible. So it's gonna be good stuff.
I was never a big Zack Sabre Jr. fan until he got this belt. Like, this belt has been so good for Sabre Jr. because, like, in the past, I've thought his matches were kind of, like, formulaic in a way where he would just, like, do his holds, and, like, that's not my favorite type of wrestling. But the time limit has made him so compelling because he works in more of, like, a sprint style because he only has 15 minutes. So I love this belt. I love this run that Zack's having, and I think Tanahashi is going to win this match.
He has 16 successful defenses of this championship. Remember, he won it at WrestleKingdom last year, beating Narita for the title. I think he retains here. I think it would be weird if the new president won a championship on the first show after he becomes president. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
I think that'd be awesome.
I think that'd be awesome. Fucking sick.
I think it'll be good, but I do think Sabre retains here. I think Sabre retains. I think it would be cool if they did a title change on like New Year's Dash or something. If say like the winner of Tsuji and Uemura challenges, something like that. I think that would be really cool. Junior heavyweight titles: Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Collars and Drilla Maloney against Catch 22. Francesco Akira and TJP. These two have had great matches against each other, and I'm looking forward to this undercard match. I got to be honest, I don't think there's a whole ton to say about this junior title match. I think it'll be really solid. But after running through it, I've been kind of low on this card, just looking at it on paper. But I think there's really a lot to like here on this show. Yeah. Like, obviously, it's WrestleKingdom, you would expect to, but frankly, the only two matches I don't think are going to be at least very good are the tag title match, the heavyweight title match, the evil match. I think just about everything will probably be really good, and if not great. I don't know about you guys. I'm fucking stoked for WrestleKingdom. I know that's crazy. The Pro Podcast is excited about WrestleKingdom, but yeah.
I have a bit to say about this match because I really think it's two great teams. I mean, as much as the junior heavy title division has been terrible, the junior tag titles are strong. I mean, this is the first time in a while we've had actual teams. Like, this War Dogs team is great. I'm really high on Drill Maloney. I think he has a lot of potential. And we all know what Clark Connors has. I mean, ever since his performance at Forbidden Door, he's been very impressive. And on the other hand, I mean, Francesco Akira, he was great in All Japan. He's really been a great part of United Empire here. And TJP has been a great asset to New Japan. I mean, he's finally found a spot since he left WWE where he can thrive. Like, he's done a very good job. And, you know, he wasn't good at times in other places, but TJP has been good, like legitimately good in New Japan. So I think this match is going to be pretty good. I think Catch 2-2 gets the win here, but I think it's going to be a very entertaining match.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is another one of those examples, Parky said about, kind of reflecting on that card and it being a bit more exciting than you initially considered. I think it's a case of, it's not the quality thing, it's the excitement factor. And, there's not a lot of new matches outside of the kind of the top end of the card. But the stuff we've seen before, we know can be great. So, like this match, it's not, it doesn't jump off the page for being kind of a brand new matchup. But I think these two teams can absolutely deliver together. I think that's what they'll do.
So that's WrestleKingdom. I'm very much looking forward to this show. I mean, the first full.
Do we got any Rambo predictions for the Rambo?
I think. Who else is there? So there's like LIJ, like Bushi, right? Who else is in L? No, I guess not. It's just literally just Bushi. There's the War Dogs. There's a Suzuki team. You could do like Suzuki, Archer, and Alex Zane or something if they'll be around.
Archer and Zane will not be there.
Okay.
They're in America.
They're in America.
I have a bold prediction. I have a bold prediction for this. I think Han Mania is going to run wild. I think Tomoaki Honma is going to win the match. Han Mania is running wild in the Tokyo Dome.
They could do like Kojima, Nagata, and Tenzan or something. Now I want to go back. Now I'm like curious, like who's not on this? They could do it if it's like they could do like Cobb, Hinare, and like Callum.
Wait, no, wait, it's not 6-man titles. It's for the KOPW.
Oh yeah, what am I talking about? Yeah, I'm losing my mind. I'm thinking the 6-man gauntlet. Fucking, I hate the KOPW. It's such a waste of fucking time. But yeah, okay. So then, who do I think it's gonna be? I think it'll be Cobb. I'll say Cobb.
I don't think
Hinare.
Hinare. Okay, cool. I can tell we're all really excited about the Rambo. I'll love it when I'm watching it, but up until the first entrance hit, I'm gonna be like, this is a waste of my time.
Remember when Shima was in it a couple years ago? That was awesome.
Oh, I was sick. He was in the New Japan Cup too. He was, yeah. Shima.
We'll get the T-Hawk G1 run someday. We're getting it someday, fellas. Someday it's gonna happen. Like it's gonna happen someday.
Okay, let's talk about Tanahashi as president. We got big news over the last couple
President.
weeks. Hiroshi Tanahashi is the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. First time they've had an active wrestler as president since, I'm trying to think of when the last one would have been.
Inoki.
Yeah, I guess Inoki probably, right? Yeah. So he replaced Takami Obari. Obari had some mixed response to him, mixed reception to him as president, but I'm looking forward to Tanahashi as president. Like, it has become increasingly rare. It used to be the default was that wrestlers would be the spearheads of promotion, right? The head bookers, the people even ran like finances and things like that. And you still see it on smaller promotions, right? But that's really gone to the wayside. Famously, I don't know if, maybe not famously, but Misawa was adamant that that a wrestler should always hold the title of president. And so that's why when he led the departure, the exodus to Pro Wrestling Noah, that was his responsibility. He always thought that it should have been, and that's why I can't remember who he was replaced by when he passed away. But I remember that being
was it June?
Deal. It might have been June, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Regardless, Yeah, that's big news. Any, it's hard to say what's going to be different or the same until things get underway. But obviously now Tanahashi will have a big role in the booking side of things as well, most likely, unless he just goes completely hands off with Gedo. What do you guys think?
Probably means
Mhm.
Okada stays around, so I have nothing to complain about it. I mean, obviously, if you read between the lines, and I don't even think this is talking about sourced information. I think it's pretty obvious that this is one of the things Okada wanted. So just keeps Kazuchika Okada in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think everyone's okay with that. So really, I'm not a Japanese businessman. I don't really know the implications of this too much, but as a fan in the West, I mean, Tanahashi is the things that are important to me is keeping Forbidden Door going, and I think Tanahashi's a big proponent of that relationship, and Tanahashi has a great relationship with the boys. So I mean, I don't see any reason to be mad at this.
Mhm. Yeah, it seems like it's a bit of an era of change in Bushi Road. You know, we had the change in management in Stardom, and now New Japan, pretty big move. It seems like, as it seemed like it would be the case in Stardom, it's obviously going to be a bit more wrestler oriented. I mean, obviously it's like Tanahashi to president. As Merv said, it seems like this is very much a Okada is staying kind of deal. In that kind of respect, I think Meltzer pointed out that Okada had beef with Obari, apparently. So that seems like, I mean, if Obari's out and Tanahashi's in, who Okada is currently, teaming with with the Never Six-Man titles, that seems like a pretty safe bet that Okada's going to be pretty happy with this one. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I think New Japan with the current the players they've got right now, and the kind of guys we want to see pushed. A bit of a youth movement is needed. Taking a chance on some younger guys going into 2024 is what's going to get people excited about New Japan. And I don't think there's many better people that you could have leading the ship that know about taking a chance on an up and coming guy than Hiroshi Tanahashi. So I'm fairly confident that this is going to be a good move for the company.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens with him as president. All right. That's going to be it for a little bit of New Japan. A couple super chats. This is from like literally 50 minutes ago. I'm sorry, Will. So $5 super chat. So last week I wake up to All Japan working with WWE. Then Uncle Dave saying Julia leaning to WWE. WWE may work with Stardom. So we'll touch on this a little bit. I think the relationship right now, maybe this is just like cope, but I think it's like way overblown. All this stuff. There's been no like working relationship. I don't really even see what WWE gains from a big like working relationship. Like this is a company that makes like literally $1 billion. Like All Japan and Stardom aren't even in this like stratosphere. To me, this is way more just like Triple H and Shawn Michaels being a lot more open to just generally acknowledging other wrestling companies than Vince McMahon ever was.
I would even say take it a step like down. I think it's legitimately just Regal calling in a favor for his son. I don't think it's
Yeah.
a big relationship implication. I think it's William Regal, a guy who has a lot of history in Japan, wanting to give his son a couple matches in Japan. If they start sending over like Bronco Nima or some shit or Obafemi, I mean, then I'll be like, okay, we got something here. But I mean, it's fucking Regal's son working a couple matches in Japan. I mean, I don't think it's that deep for now. I mean, it could obviously change, and I don't think WWE is working with Stardom. I'm very, very confident of that. This is the same shit that happened when WWE was going to work with New Japan a couple years ago. I think Tony Khan will die before any Bushi Road property works with WWE, and I think it'd be a big problem if they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Merv kind of took the words out of my mouth with the Regal thing. This just feels like Regal wants his son to wrestle for the Triple Crown, wrestle Fujinami and whatever, get the reps in. But and yeah, the Stardom thing again, I don't really see that materializing. The Julia thing, which we didn't really comment on, we've touched on it a little bit before. I'm
I
still
wanted to save it for you
unconvinced that it's
guys.
definitely going to happen. I think the change in management may affect it, but it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But regardless, I can't see anything too serious developing in the kind of WWE, Japan thing. I think this will be a pretty one and done thing. But I mean, we could be proven wrong. I hope not, but we'll see.
I think it was a Wrestle Pierce report on live that Julia will not be going to AEW. I mean, this was reported by Wrestle
Oh, yeah.
Pierce. Julia will not be going to AEW. It will be WWE or Stardom. And
Mm-hmm.
I think if I'm a betting man, I think she stays in Stardom. But I know there's a lot of mutual interest in WWE and Julia, where that could definitely happen. But I just know it's going to be one of those two, and it's a possibility. It's something you should be looking out for.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's always one of those things that's like, I'll believe it when I see it. Until there's any like actual report, I fault that Julia's staying in Stardom. Yeah.
Mhm.
We also have the man patent twice strikes back. What UJPW? That's the United Japan Pro Wrestling Alliance that was just
Ooge.
announced ago. Ooge, 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 woj. Anyway, what
Whoa.
UJPW dream match would you guys like to? There's so many. I would love to see like so many.
It's Kento and
Trying to
Okada
think
for
of
me.
what jumps up. I would love to see Shuri versus Miyu Yamashita.
Mhm.
That'd be a pretty sick one.
Yeah, you two just took my top two picks there. To be honest, I think there's not a ton of Stardom and TJPW crossover that I've been crying out for, but those two feel like the easy choice to go with. And then Kento versus pretty much anyone. I mean, I'd like to see him mix it up with a lot of the top guys in New Japan. But the Okada one seems like pretty obvious one again. But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know. I'll just throw out like a really random one. Like I'd like to see Manabu Soya wrestle fucking Big Boss Shimizu. What? I don't know. Why not?
I think we literally did see that, didn't? Oh no,
Did we?
it wouldn't have been Soya who was. No. It was Kondo and Keno who was tag champs. Yeah.
Another one would be Shingo Takagi versus Maruka Kikita for me. That'd be a big one.
Yeah. That'd be a good one. I'm trying to think of who else comes to mind. Like Kento versus a lot of dudes would be pretty cool. I think Kento and Keno in a singles match would be a really fun dynamic. Keno's like the straight laced, like he no nonsense, obsessed with the I don't know, the aura of the mat and everything, the respect that it deserves. Meanwhile, Kento's very much like a showman. Gets into he's all fan support. I think that would be a really fun dynamic. Go Shiozaki against a lot of people, I think would be really cool too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, good question. Okay. Murph, I saw your chat. We're gonna go to it a little bit later. I want to move on to Stardom real quick. We're gonna talk about World Wonder Ring Stardom, who had their dream show from Sumo Hall this past I guess the 29th. This past Thursday, right? This was a very well received
free on
show.
YouTube right now too. If you have not seen it, it's free.
Yes, because there was there was some stream issues towards the end, so they just decided to put the whole thing up for free. We're kind of low on time and there's a lot to get to, so we don't have to go super in depth on a lot of stuff. Jamie or Murph, is there anything from any of the non-title matches that you want to talk about, shout out from this show? We got a couple debuts, got a couple new faces. Anything else you want to shout out besides that?
Not really. Go on. Sorry, Sayaka Kurara has a really good spear. So she's exciting, but nothing too. Yuna Mizumori and Ami Sourei had some nice exchanges. I think Mizumori's gonna have a good 2024.
I was really impressed by the twins, the Queen Quest twin. What's her name?
Hina.
I thought she was pretty. I was like, the last time I think I've watched a Hina match, she was like a child, and she's gotten better since then. So that's one thing that stood out to me. Nanai's still awful, terrible, nothing redeeming about her. Mina Shirakawa's entrance is the most compelling thing in wrestling. It's like there's something about it. You just, like, I don't know what it is. It's the most compelling thing in wrestling. What else? What else did I pick up? I really like the dynamic of Fury teaming with Mina and I know her old name. What's her new name?
Who?
High Speed.
May Sarah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say May Sarah. I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that match was a lot of fun. I don't know. It was a good show. I thought that I didn't really like we'll talk about it, the white belt match. I thought it was pretty aggressively mid. But the main event was great, and we'll get into the main event.
Well, let's talk about let's go to the tag titles first here.
Yes.
Aphrodite got the successful defense of the Goddess title match. They defeated Oedo Tai, Momo, and Tora. And so it's like 16 minutes. It was good stuff, good wrestlers. Obviously, Momo as the two Queen's Quest girls. But yeah, I thought this was just a good little match. It didn't feel Sumo Hall worthy necessarily. Match.
Tora's not good.
No, I'm not having this.
I like Tora.
No, I'm a member of the Tora Respect Army.
When did Saki Kashima leave Oedo Tai?
Because she's too funny.
That was the result of the. It was the result of the loss in the cage match.
I was wondering because I was so confused. I was confused when Saki Kashima.
Yeah, she got. Yeah, she's now in God's eye. She's a shooter like the other people.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed this one. It wasn't anything too standout. It's just nice to have Aphrodite back on these shows. If the shows feel bigger when Utami Hashter and Sai Kamatani on them. Funny enough. And I'm a big fan of the Oedo Tai duo as well. I know Murph's not a big on Tora, but I think she's had a pretty good year actually. I think she shined a lot in the G1, the 5-star. She had a lot of good showings in there. I think Oedo Tai are going to win the Triangle Derby, which I think is like tomorrow. It's crept up.
Yeah, it's one night. Yeah.
They're doing a one. I think Oedo Tai are winning. I think the final will probably be for the belts. So I feel like that may be a direction for Oedo Tai at the start of the year. But nothing too major in the match. Just nice to have Aphrodite back, and I hope they have a nice long reign.
The third from the top was the strong women's title match. Julia successfully defended against Bane. This match is interesting. I'm just looking at the cage match, and I love by TKO. I think that it's always. I think it's fun when companies decide the box with the results and the booking and things like that. But this is the best Megan Bane match I've ever seen. Just yet more evidence that Julia is the best in the world. I genuinely think she is that. I think. I don't want to put anybody on blast. We've been privy to somebody who's very important in wrestling who thinks Julia is terrible. And I'm like, what? I'm happy with it because that means that's like one less place to go in America, I guess. But she's the best women's wrestler in the world, in my opinion. Like, she's better than anybody else, except for maybe Mercedes on her best night. I think Julia is as good as it gets in this match with Megan Bane, who I have not been like crazy impressed with so far. Is just more examples of that.
Go ahead, Miff.
I always find it funny that that person in question likes one of these people and not the other, and it's like pretty interesting which order it is. But I thought Megan Bane was good. I mean, she has aura. I mean, she's just like a better Jade Cargill. Like, to be honest with you, I mean, she's a big girl that can move. Like, she's just a better Jade. Like, that's legit. Like, she's not nothing.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. Like, they're similar size, similar build.
It's like how Mercedes Moné is a better Thunder Rosa. It's just like Thunder Rosa is the worst Mercedes Moné. Is actually how I should say. But like, no, she's just a better Jade, and she's good. But Julia's very good. I think Julia's a great women's wrestler. She's good. I do think that her like star power is better than her wrestling. I don't think she's a bell to bell like sensation, but no, this was a good match. This was my third favorite match on the show, and it was good.
Yeah, this is definitely Megan Bane's best showing so far. I don't think she's been like bad or anything. I don't think she's not been super standout. Obviously she came and had the red belt match with Tam, which is a pretty big spot to throw her in straight away. But I think she's been quietly kind of developing, as often talents do when you're working on these kind of Stardom tours. We saw it with Mariah May, who came a long way with the time in Stardom. I think Megan Bane's definitely benefited a lot there. And, as you guys kind of said, put her in with Julia, who I think is the best women's wrestler in the world. I would agree. this was excellent. I thought Megan Bain comes out of it, whether, you know, I mean, we all assume she's heading back to AEW at some point relatively soon. Murph seems to think it's, will you say February or something like that?
I was told February 5th.
February 6th. Well, if that's the case, then I think this is probably a good big time match to kind of go out. I mean, she may have one or two more pay-per-view matches, but I think she's shown her quality in this one, so hopefully she can carry that into AEW. And yeah, good stuff.
Second from the top, new white belt champion Saori Ano, which is still kind of crazy. The white belt champion beating Mirai 25 minutes in the semi-main of Sumo Hall. The match was very good. I didn't think it was great. It was very good. I thought it was long, and I thought a lot of the early stuff was just kind of like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got. I did think it got quite good towards the end. Mirai's good at closing stretches. She can do those pretty well. It was similar problems and criticisms to what I've had with Mirai in the past, where I just don't like give a shit about her at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
She's so plain.
There's just not much. She's very plain. She's very like faceless and like just like a gal. And Saori Ano, for her personality, and is able to and like an intent. And again, Mirai develops that intensity throughout the course of a match. She never starts that way though, and it's, I don't know. I don't need 9 minutes of grappling before stuff actually happens. It's okay to just like have the match. With that being said, I sound really critical. I do think this match was very good towards the end. Just wasn't a huge fan of how they got there. Love the result though. Love Ano being white belt champion. A lot of people were predicting her to win. I didn't really see it, to be honest, and I'm glad I was wrong, because I think she's a really inspired choice to be white belt champion when there's so many people on the roster who could deserve this championship. Ano's just another one, and I'm really happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this match, when it got announced, I remember when we initially previewed a couple of the matches on this show, and when we had this match announced, I kind of initially said, okay, they're doing the rematch, that means Ano's going over. And then Parker reminded me that the first match was a draw, and I was like, oh fuck, Mariah's winning. So going into this, I whereas initially I had some belief, I had no belief going into this. I was like, Mariah's winning, it's over. So I celebrated the results of this match like Liverpool had just scored a 90th minute winner, as was the case with the which we'll get to. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty similar to their first. I think it was an improvement on their first match, but their first match again started off pretty slow, as kind of Mariah matches tend to do. But they pick up, and once it does pick up, obviously, you know, Mariah in the closing stretch, like you said, is really good, and Ano is excellent. But the result is the story coming out of this. It's a very exciting result. Mariah, for her criticism, has a decent, you know, white belt reign. You know, as much as I didn't really want it to happen, it's hard to argue that the matches have been good to pretty great in some of them. But I think Ano with the white belt is very exciting for one or two reasons. One, she's just really good in her own right. Two, I think it paves the way for Natsupoi to win the white belt. I think Ano may have. I'm predicting Ano's going to have a relatively short reign with this belt. I don't think she's fully signed, which is why I never fully was convinced that she was going to win this as well. I know she kind of still takes freelance dates and she works like Sukeban and stuff like that, whereas like Isuzu is fully signed by the looks of it. So I think she may have one or two defenses, and then I don't think they can stay away from the Natsupoi match for too long. And I think Natsupoi will get the white belt, and that's very exciting for me and for 6-star friend of the show. I think, you know, that'll be a big one.
All right, let's get to the big.
This match is kind of boring.
Am I good to move on? Murph? We just got a lot to get to, and I want to.
Oh yeah, sure.
Take cognizance of everybody's time. All right, cool. We'll get to the match, the most anticipated Joshi matches all year, for the vacant World of Stardom. Micah, for the first time, wins the world championship, beats Suzu Suzuki in a match that I thought was so awesome. I loved this match to the point where I was so, and you know, when one of the cool things about having a podcast about Pro that 50 people are watching right now, which is like insane, right? Is that when you get to like make predictions and you get to actually really think about, you know, who do you think, not just you sort of passively enjoy it, you're expected to analyze it, right? And I put a lot of thought into who I thought should win this match and who I wanted to win this match, because I'm a huge fan of both. And I always thought I think Micah should have won this match, but I really wanted Suzu to win it. And so that dynamic watching through, and the more we talked about it, because this match was actually announced, well, confirmed in advance, considering how much they had to scramble to get to this point. And the more people talked about it, the more I just dug my heels in and was like Suzu. And so this match was super dramatic for me by the end, to the point where I was like getting like emotional. I was like, wow, they're just like great wrestlers too, right? And so like the action's awesome too, but you can see the emotion in both people. You have like, you know, the prodigy in Suzu, the workman in Micah, who's maintained her incredible work ethic, who the best thing that she has done on this roster is that she makes everybody else look good. She's an incredible like seller, right? And she's built enough so that she works on top against smaller wrestlers, but then enough that she can get the shit kicked out of her by big wrestlers and take crazy bumps from Shuri and Utami and people like that. And it all came together with Micah getting the win, world title for the first time, and you just can't argue with it. I adore Suzu, and I really wanted her to win. You can't argue with the results. And Jamie, I know you were so far behind Micah in this. You and I don't disagree that all that much. We disagreed on this one. You came out on top. How'd you feel?
Oh, I felt amazing. Suzu, I absolutely love Suzu Suzuki. I would not have been mad if she won. You know, but she will be back, right? And my worry was that I wasn't 100% certain that Micah would be back. And also, Micah was so popular going into this one. I mean, as soon as the bell rung, it was all Micah chants. And I just think you're going into the new year, you've had a pretty rough 2023. I think you needed a big, you know, you needed to make Micah win to send the crowd home happy, to kick off the year with a great result. And that's what we got. I thought the match was excellent, super physical. The closing stretch with Micah winning, she hit the Himeka's running power bomb, and then obviously the three Michinoku drivers. Oh, it was. I mean, even at the third Michinoku driver, I wasn't even fully convinced. I was like, nah, it's Micah. But she got the win, and I was so happy. I was very happy for Peps. This is a big win for Peps, the biggest Micah fan.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, it's great because Micah for a long time felt like she was going to be kind of, you know, almost the Hiroki Goto of Stardom. She challenged so many times. It just never felt like happening, but now she's got it. I'm just super excited for what she's going to do in 2024. Suzu, like I said, she's going to be back. She's so young and she's so great for how young she is that it's only going to be a matter of time. She may even be the one to beat Micah. I wouldn't be totally surprised if that happened. But an excellent main event to cap off a pretty rough year for Stardom, but I think they entered it in one of the best possible ways. So exciting for the future.
You guys touched it all. Great match.
All right, sweet. Okay. I thought this was a really good show. I didn't think it was like quite. These Dream Queendom shows have been like unbelievable the last couple years. This wasn't quite on that level. Obviously, Stardom had a lot of scrambling to get to where they ended up getting to, but I think with what they had, they did pretty damn well. And they should be happy with all these wrestlers coming back finally. With what they have in store for 2024. Looking forward to it. Okay, we're gonna around here because it is Wrestle Kingdom season. We want to give every promotion their due. We're gonna start with All Japan Pro Wrestling, and we're gonna talk about one thing in particular, and that is Kento Miyahara versus Katsuhiko Nakajima for the Triple Crown Championship, which was just as good. Oh my God, that entrance! Oh my God, that entrance! Are you kidding me, Nakajima? What a fucking watching that, I was like, whoa, are you for real right now? Crazy. So
Unbelievable.
he dresses like a 1997 shooter. He's got the robe on. He shaves his head. He looks like baby Fujita. All right. He comes out to Ali Bomaye. Oh my God. He's going against the quintessential pro wrestler in Kento Miyahara. It's just the best dynamic. And I'm so proud of All Japan for ending the year the way they did. with this match because they were the best promotion in Japan in 2023, in my opinion. And not only Japan, the world, in my opinion. And they ended it out perfectly. This match was just as good as their first one in Noah, in my opinion. And even though we've got a little bit of iffiness with the Charlie Dempsey stuff coming up, in fact, coming up in like tonight, right? Or is it tomorrow? I can't. Yeah, it is tonight, right? There's aside from that, I mean, there's a lot to like about this promotion. Looking ahead, I don't know if you guys just saw. Quick side note: Rising Hayato on the show yesterday, he cut a promo to the crowd, and it was translated as saying, "The disregard our president, focus on the wrestlers while we're here." It was it was just very like, we're very privy to what's going on this promotion. It's unfortunate with all the departures that are happening, but
I
Big
read
Shuj is
that
the
Rising
only.
Hayato was
Yeah.
gonna leave, and then they made Kento some like figurehead or something like that. So now Rising Hayato is gonna stay. That's
Mhm.
what I heard. But
And the thing about
crazy.
Hayato is, I do not think he's ever actually been officially signed to All Japan.
No.
I think he's always been technically a freelancer. But anyway, regardless, quickly, Nakajima and Kento.
Oh, spectacular! As the entrances felt like this was like a superstar making his entrance, and also talking about like an invading force coming into the promotion, right? Jake Lee tried to do it in Noah. This is how you do an
Yeah,
invading.
he was the shitter of the year.
Yeah,
They traded promotions, and Nakajima's meanwhile the best. To interrupt you, not my favorite, but one of my most loved venues in Japan for a long time was Yokohama Bunkai Gymnasium, which closed a few, and hits those notes, man. It hits those vibes. It's kind of gritty. It's kind of like shitty in there, right? But everybody's really low to the ground, so you see a lot more of the crowd, and they always light it really dark spotlights in the ring as opposed to being super well lit up. And I just, the vibes of this venue are so great. It's the second time this year All Japan went there, and I would love for more companies to start utilizing this venue. But anyway, continue.
yeah. I was just going to say, like, comparing it to kind of Jake Lee's invading thing, coming into it All Japan, a Triple Crown championship match as Triple Crown champion against Kento Miyahara, the face of the company, entering to Ali Bomaye and looking like a disciple of Antonio Inoki, the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then having that match with Kento Miyahara, it wasn't just all smoke.
He tapped him out. He tapped, like, he had him in that armbar. It looked like a shoot. It was like, oh fuck, please don't hurt my wrestler.
But this is just spectacular.
Good stuff.
I mean, what a way to start the year. This is the type of
stuff that gets you excited about Puro and wrestling in general. Murph, anything to add?
Wrestling.
Nice.
So true. Okay. This is gonna be sad, Murph, to your promotion. Okay. Today was the worst wrestling match I've seen in a long time. The saddest wrestling match I may have seen like ever, aside from somebody who was like inebriated or like a retirement match. Murph's upset right now. You can see Murph is staring at me. But Narumichi Marufuji took on Kota Ibushi at Noah the New Year for an Ariake Arena. 5,000 fans paid to see this main event. It currently has a 0.57 on Cage Match. I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at what the lowest rated matches of all time are. Because I'm quite curious. Well, anyway, it's going to take me a while to click and find that. But the report is Kota Ibushi came into this match, broke an ankle, worked it anyway, did a moonsault in the first few minutes, broke his other ankle, and then wrestled the rest of a 34-minute match. Not only that, once the match is over, okay, Jake Lee and Kaito Kiyomiya have to come out and like save the show because Ibushi can't walk, right? He does eventually walk back, but he like can't stand for more than a couple seconds. It's just one of the most surreal, awkward, and frankly sad scenes I've ever seen in wrestling. Murph, you are such an Ibushi fan. You say he's your favorite Japanese wrestler ever. Did you watch this at all? Did it make you too sad?
I woke up, looked at my phone, and I sent a message to the WrestlePeers group chat. I said, please tell me Ibushi went off last night. And then one Ashutosh at Cerulean Blue says, it was the worst match ever. And I say, and Ash is someone who's a bit of a cynic. I mean, he
Yeah, I don't agree
watches
with a lot of
wrestling,
his opinions.
but he's pretty negative on shit all the time. So I was like, Ash. And then AO goes, dude, I came in asking the same thing. Apparently, it actually was the worst match ever. Okay, so I go on Twitter. I search up Ibushi. And the first clip I see is him having his hand raised and him falling to his knees because he can't stand. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like I knew it wasn't going to be great because Ibushi, I knew he was banged up, but I didn't know he's that banged up. Fact of the matter is, I don't want to see Kota Ibushi for 8 months. I just don't want to see him. Like, don't even tweet. Don't show up at any shows. We know you have money. You're not sure. You don't need money. We're good. Like, I don't want to see you to Wembley. You could wrestle at Wembley. I'll see you at Wembley, but until then, I don't want to see you because this dude needs to heal. This dude needs to sit at home and heal. Because my God, he's in such rough shape, and it hurts. Because he used to be this phenom of just athleticism, and now he's just like a blob. Last night, come on, Ibushi, come on, man, it hurts. I don't.
It is
I hate.
currently the second lowest rated Japanese match of all time, only behind Yoshiko versus Act Yakusawa.
Yasukawa.
Yeah, Yasukawa. Yeah.
Jeez.
So, that's sort of the company we're talking about here. Jamie,
Well,
what
I
do you
can
have
tell
to
you
add?
it was better than that because because Marufuji didn't try and murder Ibushi, but it was pretty close. I mean, at least that match was kind of compelling.
Yeah, yeah. This, I mean, there's not too much more to say about it. This, I mean, Ash sometimes gets a little bit dramatic. I think he may have been on the money here. This may have been the worst match ever. This was fucking atrocious. I mean, coming into this, I already felt bad for Keno and Manabu Soya. Then after they had an excellent match, I felt even more bad. I was like, okay, now these guys got to deliver. And then coming out of the match, I was like, fuck, man. These guys just went to war in the GHC title match, and then we had this to main event. Ibushi, I know some people saying, oh man, he's got to take time, we've got to go heal. If he hung it up right now, I'd be pretty content. I don't know if he's going to get much better. He had timeouts, right? He had he had a lot.
We're going
of
on. We're going, and remember, it was his shoulder that was the problem. And this is not even nothing in this match had anything to do with his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
We're now on 2.5 years since we've had a.
So we have one thing healed. So let's heal his ankles, and then we'll go from there.
This
I'm
was
holding
tragic.
on to hope, man. I want hope.
It's pretty messed up. It's pretty. I don't want to get into anything that's the responsibility. I tend to put all the blame on Ibushi, frankly. You need to know when you're available to wrestle versus not.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's hard for a lot of people to say no to him, right?
Yeah.
It's considering not just the fact that he's a legend, but is also a pretty strong personality too. And obviously we're not privy to any of his private circumstances or anything, but I think all we can really say,
one has fucking diverculitis and the other one has no ankles. Fuck me here. My two favorite wrestlers ever are a tag team, and I was anticipating them having a tag team run in AEW, but one has fucking diverculitis and is in the hospital, and the other one can't walk. So fuck this. Wrestling isn't fair.
So anyway, I rarely am sincere when I say this. I'm usually joking because I'm making fun of people who actually say this. But please, Kota Ibushi, take the time you need. And if that ends up being forever, there's no shame in that. Maybe come back for a retirement match as long as you feel like you can actually do it. But it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You can be a trainer, right? I'm sure you'd be a great fucking trainer. Okay. Very briefly, talk about a couple more things. This was the only thing on the show that I watched, by the way. I've heard great things about the Keno match and the Ishii match as well. So I'm looking forward to watching those too. All right. Dragon Gate, very quickly, has a new world champion, a new Open the Dream Gate champion in Luis Monte.
The first ever Mexican to be a world champion in Japan, I will say, which is a huge deal.
That is a huge deal. I didn't get that.
This man was brought in to be a tag team partner of Ultimo Dragon and work one show, and he stayed throughout the pandemic, which Parker loves. We always talk about that. We love guys that stayed throughout the pandemic. He stayed throughout the pandemic, and now he's the world champion. This guy is unlike any wrestler Dragon Gate has ever seen before. He's a big guy, and he moves like a small. He's a monster. I mean, and it's amazing. So Luis Monte is the world champion. He beat Kikita and Shun Skywalker, and he's defending at Yokohama Budokan on the 27th, I believe, against Shun Skywalker.
Nice.
And also, the other Dragon Gate note that we had to say was on January 10th in Korakuen Hall, it will be Shingo Takagi versus Masaki Mochizuki in a singles match. The first time since 2016, which was the greatest Dragon Gate singles match ever.
That's what a lot of people say that they have the best Dragon Gate match of all time. It's the only one to ever get 5 stars, I believe.
There was a Toryumon match that did, but this is the only Dragon Gate match. Yes,
right.
But this is the biggest Dragon Gate. This is, if it's half of as good as that match, it is a success. And Mochizuki has not aged since 2016. He still works the exact fucking same, and Shingo has gotten better. So this match is going to be unbelievable, and everybody needs to tune in on January 10th for Shingo in Korakuen Hall. This one's in Cork, and the other one was in Kobe, I believe. Was it? No, it was in Oda Ward. I think it was Oda Ward, actually, Dangerous Gate. But it's in fucking Korakuen Hall. This match will draw a big crowd. Not a lie. They're not going to lie about this one. This is going to be a packed building. This match is going to be fucking awesome.
Couple more very quick things to mention before we get to our closing segment here. It's the biggest week in Pro. We got to talk about it all. The finals of the DOGP are tonight. I don't even know who's in it on the top.
It's Yukio Naya.
It is Tetsuya Endo and Yukio Naya. I think it's so funny. I saw Yuki Ino on that first night, and he was awesome. And I was like, I think he might win this thing, and he didn't win another match in the tournament, I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty rough. But it looks like probably Endo will win this one, and then he will be the next challenger for Yuki Ueno, which is a match we haven't seen very much. Ueno versus Endo, considering how important they've both been to the promotion. I'm not as high on Endo as a lot of people are. I know Murph loves Endo, but yeah, we'll see where they go.
And if you're an absolute sicko, there's also Kuroshio Tokyo Japan versus Dan Shokodino, if that's like your type of thing.
Yeah, if you actually don't like wrestling and you just like whatever, yeah, go ahead and do that. That'll be a really good use of your time. There is also TJPW tomorrow from Korakuen Hall. They always do a show from Korakuen on the same day as WrestleKingdom. The match card here, the main event is Miyu Yamashita and Masha Slamovich, which should be pretty good. Like that should be this is a rematch of the match we saw in the States. Should be a really good one here. And then a 3-way match for the Princess Championships, or for the Tag Championships, I should say. This is a good one too. Daydream versus Suzume and Arisu Endo versus let's see, Ryo Mizunami and Yuki Aino. I think all those wrestlers are really good. There's also Max the Impaler versus Yuki Arai, which sounds like the worst match of all time.
I'd want to shoot cyanide in my eyes watching that.
But luckily, I don't have to watch it. That's the nice thing. I can go to Wrestle Universe and I can click ahead because I will not be watching that shit live. So yeah, I think that's all the big stuff. Always love New Year Dash on the day after. I hope there's a nice surprise. Last year, the Omega and Okada tag team was such a fun moment. I hope they're able to replicate something like that with Danielson and Moxley, maybe this weekend. But yeah, I think you guys, we've previewed all.
Wait! Also, Stardom in Tokyo Dome Joshi Hall. What am I saying? Tokyo Dome City Hall.
Tokyo City Hall. Tokyo, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Stardom
Yeah.
has a big show. So big. I don't know.
Facts.
I don't know.
Murph.
We're getting
Oh,
Shuri
also-
versus Mayu for IWGP.
Oh, Hayata
Mm.
Tamura is the new G-Rex champion. There's one more. Hayato
Oh
Tamura.
yeah, Hayato Tamura. He's really good. I'm glad that he's champion. I love
And
T Hawk.
Yamamura's back.
Yeah, I know, and he was in like a big match, wasn't he? Yeah, I remember that.
He lost to the
Yeah.
shitter of all shitters, Kaito Ishida, but Yamamura is the man, so he did great.
All right. Okay, y'all. That's just about gonna do it for us, except for the beast of Rippling. Get this $13 H&M jacket thing. Anyway,
Drip.
what's that?
I said drip.
Drip. Right. Yep. So what's it gonna be, folks? For Mike, it's got to be Micah style. What do you think?
My
Unless
internet
that was.
just went a little crazy. I kind of missed what you said there.
Oh,
I got Micah. That's
okay.
it.
We're thinking Micah Beast of the week here. I think that's a good answer.
I was going to say the collective. I thought we were going to go Nakajima after his entrance.
What about Dwayne fucking Johnson, guys? Come on.
No, we're not. No, he will never be Beast of the week. We're gonna go. Well, okay, yeah. Collective is Nakajima. I presume you're gonna say Micah is yours, but you have to say. I think Nakajima is good for the collective.
Yeah, I'll go Micah. That was my original plan. I just kind of assumed we were all going to go Nakajima for the collective, but yeah, that's
a good call. That's a good call. Nakajima for the entrance. I mean, it was like a classic match, but like oh my god, dude. It was pretty great. I think Micah deserves it.
Oh, Parker, you forgot to talk about Yuki Mashiro.
Murph, you fucking idiot. My beast of the week at Ice Ribbon Mania. God, it was so sad. At Ice Ribbon Mania, there was an incredible return. While everybody else was watching the garbage promotion All Elite Wrestling, that had a 5-match stretch where no match got better than a 6-on cage match at World's End, I was watching from Korakuen Hall, and there was a return to wrestling that has made me happier than any return to wrestling since CM Punk. So I hope this one goes a little bit differently. Yuki Mashiro of Ice Ribbon. I'm so glad she's back. She is like the only comedy wrestler who I tolerate anymore. I don't have patience for it. She is so likable. She's so charismatic. And she's a great between the ropes wrestler. She was gone for a year, and she is now back. Yuki Mashiro, one of the best wrestlers in the Joshi indie scene, the most charismatic wrestler in the Joshi indie scene. I am so happy she is back in wrestling. Just for that, she is my beast of the week. I could have given it to Ibuki Hoshi for retaining the title in a 25-minute match, one of the longest Ice Ribbon matches in a long time. It's all
made
about
the top
Yuki.
5 wrestle
the Gotcha King.
I actually told Parker about her return, which I'm very proud of. I knew first.
Yeah, I was like, what? And then I turned on Ribbon Mania, and I was like, wow.
Okay. There were a lot of contenders this week. It was tough. I was earmarking it for Ibushi, but that's not fucking happening.
That would be crazy.
I was thinking maybe Adam Cole, the Devil. Maybe Adam Copeland.
That's a good one.
Maybe The Rock. But no. I'm going to give it to a Japanese guy. But not a Japanese guy you think I'm going to give it to. You see, fuck Perot. I'm giving it to a guy who brought me the most joy out of anybody this weekend. People that know me, I am a huge supporter of the Scottish football club, Celtic. And you see, they beat the worst football club in the world, literally the AW collision under CM Punk of football clubs, the Rangers, who are the worst club in the world. They hate everybody that isn't a white Protestant. They're terrible people. And Kyogo Furuhashi scored a worldie. A tap in, but we're not going to say that. But Kyogo got the goal. So my beast of the week is number 8 for your Glasgow Celtic, Kyogo Furuhashi.
Yeah. I like it.
I'm always saying how much I like him. He's love that guy. Love how he kicks that ball.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay.
The
All right.
greatest
Our
Huntsville
beasts
promo.
of the week: Katsuhiko Nakajima, Micah, Yuki Mashiro, and whoever the fuck Murph just said.
Kyogo Furuhashi.
Yeah. Ohashi, Furuhashi.
Furuhashi, yes.
Furuhashi. Okay,
Hashi.
gotcha. Okay. All right. Hey, thank you all so much for watching, everybody. I love the Tuesday time slot. Jamie, I know you're tired. I'm sorry. I hope you get some sleep. I love the Tuesday time slot. I think it's better than Sunday. Sunday just never talked quite right. But I just want to throw that on there for you,
A1.
Murph.
He's an A1. Oh,
No, he's
I could've
not.
given
No,
it
he's
to-
not. He's
I
a
could
B
have given
plus
it
player.
to OG, bro. I could have given it
Yeah.
to OG.
Yeah, you could have given that. OG would have been a good choice too. But anyway, okay. All right. Enough of that.
What a
Thank you all so
basketball
much for
player.
watching. We had great viewership in this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm so looking forward to reviewing Wrestle Kingdom coming up soon here. And I hope you guys enjoy the show as well. We will catch you next week. This has been Jamie. This has been Murph. And this has been P for Dumb Guy Live. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Stay dumb.